liberal arts colleges, a conversation, an open flow of ideas is pretty much the mantra that everyone lives by. Whether it be our premier institutions in Delhi, in Mumbai, in Kolkata, or even in Lucknow, in Madhya Pradesh, always the students are told, keep an open mind, be willing to listen to anyone. Which is why it's quite strange that today in one of the most prestigious colleges in Delhi, an invitation that was given to Dalit scholar and spokesperson of the BJP, Guru Prakash, was rescinded at the last moment. Why? Not because this college was against it, not because there's any official order, but because of an uproar among the student community. Why? Because they said that the spokesperson represents an ideology that's anti-Dalit, it is fascist, and he should not be given that space. What then is the message that is being given out? And is this not against the very idea of free speech? Isn't this intolerance exemplified?
In a democracy, we believe that ideas must come from all the direction. You cannot convert an institution of eminence into an echo chamber. You might disagree with me, you might not agree with my propositions, but you can come have a meaningful debate. The Dalits of country have the rightful claim towards the legacy of Baba Saheb Ambedkar, and if you're not allowing me to speak, regardless of that, I want to inform this to all of you that you cannot stop me from raising the concerns of my brothers and sisters from the Dalit community. I will continue to speak, I will continue to write.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, Rashmi Samant continues with us. We're also joined by Professor Sangeet Ragi, Vivek Srivastav, Sunny Dhiman. My first question is to you, Prachi. Prachi Verma, by the way, is the secretary of the SFI in Lady Shri Ram College. Why were you against Guru Prakash speaking in your college?
Okay, so we got to know that SC/ST cell is organizing this event and has invited Guru Prasad Paswan, who's a spokesperson of BJP. So we have a problem not with the event that was called, but with the speaker, right? Because he affiliates himself with BJP. And BJP as a party has been hate-mongering in the country. We have seen that numerous times. We have seen how atrocities, like how, it has a history of, oppressing, mongering hate on the Dalits, on the Adivasis, on the marginalized communities.
Okay.
So why should we give a platform to someone who affiliates to such a party?
That's the idea,
so that was the reason that was given.
Because that is the idea of a college, isn't it, Prachi? In college, we study everyone. We listen to everyone. We studied colonialism, for heaven's sake. I mean, that doesn't mean that colonialism is a good thing. We studied Marxist ideology. We studied communism. If I start telling you about communism and the Great March and what it has done to various parts of the world, we'd be sitting here until tomorrow. But we studied in all of that. Why can't we listen to a Guru Prakash?
First of all, SFI released no statement, and we expressed our disagreement to the head of the SC/ST cell, one of the heads. And
That's
the
fine.
SC/ST
You
cell
said that Guru
themselves
Prakash cannot get the platform because he comes from BJP, that is anti-Dalit.
And I am also part of the SC/ST cell.
Yes. So why shouldn't he be given a voice?
And let me speak. Like, I'm also part of that.
Yes.
And yeah. So I'm also part of the SC/ST cell, and it is also me as a person from the community who has refused to listen to a person who affiliates with a party which has been oppressive to my community, which is very oppressive to the community that I belong to.
That is fine.
And,
but
even
then
cannot
you are welcome
the
to not go for the talk. Why should he be blackballed? Don't go. Don't go for the talk.
The SC/ST cell decided to cancel the talk.
Because of quote-unquote outrage from the student community.
That we do
presumably
not want
people like you.
We democratically showed our dissent. We addressed the issue to the cell and requested them very peacefully through a text message, and we organized consecutively. For 2 days we organized our talks in which we countered the idea of right-wing appropriation of Ambedkar. I don't know if that's not democratic, then what is democratic?
Okay, before I get Professor Ragi and Rashmi Samant to respond to that,
like ABVP does in other colleges.
Let me quickly ask you, would you be comfortable? Would you be comfortable with the Congress, any Congress leader coming to your college for a talk?
It is not about Congress, like if they, that is like we want someone from the community. If it was, it's not just about if Congress has done anything, if they were in power and they have done the same things, we will oppose them as well. It's not about Congress or BJP. It is about anyone who is a part of such an
member of the
SC/ST cell.
Today somebody say from the Trinamool Congress came and said that, hi, Prachi, we want to have our member of parliament speak at your college. Would you be okay with that?
If BJP wants to conduct, if the BJP wants to call their speakers, the ABVP is welcome to do so. If they are calling it, they can have a talk, they can book a hall. But when the administration is calling a person from the party, while it is not letting other speakers come, it has happened in the past in our college where we are not allowed to call speakers whom the student body agrees to call.
Like?
We are said that they are not allowed from the administration, which is different from students disagreeing.
Like?
The BJP controlled administration does not let speakers. Prashant Bhushan was not allowed in law faculty. Police was called. Police is called in campus to oppose students when students themselves are wanting the speaker to come, which has not happened in this case. Students showed disagreement and the SC/ST cell, the organizers of the talk, decided to call up the event.
Fair enough. Rashmi Samant, if Prashant Bhushan can be blocked,
by the central
then
government,
why can't Prachi democratically stop Guru Prakash also?
There was a professor of Hindi. There was a professor.
I believe that.
Let me cite an example from yesterday. There was
Guru
a professor
Prasad
of Hindi department which was called in Ramjas.
A scholar.
He was not allowed from the administration.
Okay, Rashmi, respond. It's democratic dissent.
I would like to point out that Guru Prasad Paswan ji is a scholar, he's a professor, and he's written a book on his Dalit heritage. He's a Dalit himself. And I think deplatforming him on Ambedkar Jayanti is an insult to the entire community, because this is a day that we celebrate the community, and people from all ideological perspectives of that particular community should be given platform on this particular day. It is not about political ideologies that day. It's about people who conform to all spectrums. So it's about that. And I genuinely feel bad that he was deplatformed on such a key day. Secondly, I believe that campuses must have freedom of expression.
But BJP as a party has a history of being against Ambedkar also. RSS has a history of being against Constitution. They are the ones who want Manusmriti to be applied on this country. They were against Constitution. I have an example of Manusmriti. I can quote it. To this day, his laws as enunciated in the Manusmriti excite the admiration of the world and elicit spontaneous obedience and conformity. But to our constitutional pundits, that means nothing. The worst about, let me quote RSS itself. The worst about the new constitution of Bharat is there nothing Bharatiya about it. Manusmriti is the scripture which is most worshipable after Vedas for our Hindu nation, and which from ancient times has become the basis of our culture, customs, law and practice. Let me complete just one line. This book for centuries has codified the spiritual and divine demands of our nation. Even today, the rules which are followed by crores of Hindu in their lives and practice are based on Manusmriti. Today, Manusmriti is Hindu law. Hindu Rashtra is what BJP propagates.
Although it's an unfair debate, I would think, a student versus a professor. But here you have a very combative Prachi telling you why she doesn't want an anti-Dalit BJP spokesperson, even if he himself is a Dalit, to speak in her college. Professor Ragi.
Padmaja, I really would not have accepted this invitation had I come to know that the student is on the other side and representing on the panel for the discussion. But let me put it this way. I don't find Prachi at fault It is the education system, whether it is ABVP restraining Prashant Bhushan to speak, or Prachi or others not allowing anybody to speak on. This is against the whole spirit of education system, and it is happening because the cadre building. You know what Prachi is saying is something. It is dreadful in the any academic institution. I am appalled to see the kind of, the Ambedkar has been highly critical of the left. Highly critical, and I am telling you, left never respected Ambedkar, never went with the ideology of Ambedkar.
Oh my goodness.
Ambedkarites hate left. I am
it.
telling you, my friends, I sit next to a very, erudite scholar on Ambedkar, Professor N. Sukumar. I am quoting the name, and I know very well. The point is not that. The point is that why the academic institutions cannot be a vibrant place for academic engagements. Doesn't matter if somebody is talking about the RSS or whatever. RSS is a banned organization. These students do not know what RSS is talking about. What is the idea of Hindu nationalism? I have asked many professors in interviewing them while their promotion. I can tell you that in one of the prestigious institution, a professor, associate professor, wrote an article on Hindu nationalism. I said, critic of Hindu nationalism. I asked that, what are the major components of Hindu nationalism? And he was unaware of it. This is pathetic. You criticize Marxism without knowing Marx.
Irony.
You criticize RSS without knowing RSS.
Sunny Dhiman, that you shut down a BJP spokesperson in the name of Dr. Ambedkar, and it is done by a left student organization who was equally critical, by the way, of Dr. Ambedkar. Very quickly a response please from Sunny Dhiman before I come back to you, Professor Agi. Yes.
Padmaja, 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds, Professor Agi, yes.
Padmaja, 10 seconds, just allow me. Allow me, Padmaja.
Yes.
Padmaja, I was invited 2 days ago, a very prestigious institution of Delhi University to give a similar kind of a talk. And it was by the student body of that. It's a very prestigious institution of this country, and particularly of Delhi University. The way SFI, students have behaved, I realized that the similar treatment may be meted out to me, and therefore today evening I informed the executive member of the body that I was very much willing to come to your college, but the way SFI have behaved like the gundas, this is intellectual gundaism.
Intellectual gundaism, yes. Now answer that. And before you actually answer to the intellectual gundaism, a very important point brought up by Professor Ragi, which actually also I wanted to refer to. You'd be very interested to know that in 1952, the CPI Central Committee adopted a special resolution against Dr. Ambedkar. And you know what they called him? They said he is a reformist and separatist leader who keeps the untouchable masses away from the general democratic movement, and to foster the illusion that lot of untouchables could be improved by reliance on imperialism. So if somebody needs to be kept away from Ambedkar Jayanti, perhaps it is the CPI. Go on. Intellectual gundaism. Sunny Dhiman.
Padmaja, first of all, being a Bahujan and a spokesperson of the oldest political movement of India, I would like to tell you about what Ambedkar wrote about Hindu Rashtra, and that's why these people were opposing these BJP people as a person who are supporting Ambedkar's vision. Ambedkar said, like, if Hindu Raj just become a fact, it will no doubt be the greatest calamity to this country.
That is a menace. But does that mean that you're going to keep away people who follow one political ideology from the college? They're not allowed to speak. Hindu Raj
must be prevented at any cost. And the way in last 7
days... But Sunny Dhiman, how does Professor Ragi speaking in a college or Guru Prakash speaking in a college result in Hindu Rashtra?
Madam, these people support Hindu Rashtra idea. BJP support Hindu Rashtra idea.
So by that logic, CPI called Ambedkar a separatist leader. Then CPI should not be allowed in any college.
Madam, I will not allow Osama bin Laden to come to my university and give a lecture on peace and freedom. Sorry.
Osama bin Laden and the BJP have nothing in common now.
Sorry,
Just for your information, although you are a JNU scholar, perhaps on this scholarship you are found a little lacking, because last I checked, Osama bin Laden and the BJP have nothing in common. Anyhow, before we descend into the realms of the ridiculous all over again, the point is very simple. We have all studied in colleges. The one thing we were told when we entered college, keep an open mind. And that applies to people of all political ideologies and colors. Let's do that. Let's not get into these little ideological ghettos and shut down and shut out others. In that hope, thank you very much, all gentlemen, Rashmi Samant, for joining me.